Good night, everyone. So we are from Group 7. We, Today we would like to present our critical journal review. But before that, I would like to introduce our member. The first is Sihotang, and the second is Stefani Theresia. So here are the name of journals. The first is Gender and Web Design, the implications of the mirroring principle for the service branding model. And the second one is the effects of nonverbal mirroring on persuasiveness, agreement with an imitator, and reciprocity in a group discussion. So the first is G.A. Moss, R.W. Gunn, and K. Kubaki. And the second is Lynn M. Fanswell. The publisher, date, and the pages. For the first journal, the publisher is Routledge. The date is 2014, and the pages is 223. And for the second journal, the publisher is Sage, and the date is 2014, and the pages is 21. Background of the first journal. The journal does this through a focus on the web design aesthetic used in the websites of small to large companies and a comparison of this aesthetic with the preference of target users. Web design contributes to service branding and a finding of a tendency of the majority of websites to employ what may be termed a male design aesthetic, and for men and women to have a differential preference as between the male and female design aesthetic. Leads to a discussion of the appropriateness of previous service branding models. These earlier models discussed the role of internal staff in developing service branding values, but neglect to consider the dissonance that may exist between the values of internal staff and the values of external customers. The background of the second journal. Although the subject of nonverbal behavior has generated considerable research in communication and psychology, nonverbal behaviors in groups has remained understudied despite the widespread allegation that most of the emotional meaning of a relational message is communicated nonverbally, such that people tend to rely on nonverbal aspects of message more than verbal ones in making interpretations. Prior research has revealed that people tend to mirror the nonverbal behavior patterns of their interaction partners. Or for a review, see behaviors Bafilas, Black, Cofield, Lemery, and Willett in 1988. For example, research on facial mimicry has revealed that both infants and adults imitate the facial expression of people with whom they interact. The next will be explained by Stefani.
The problem from First Journal is, in terms of its value as a marketing tool, the network does more than just add another selling channel, for it is estimated to produce 10 times as many units or sold with 1/10 of the advertising budget. Quarter 1994. To ease customer retention and to facilitate flexible response and advantage with shrinking product life cycles. It is considered that these factors together have worked to transform the way business is conducted. Studies that investigate The impact of gender in relation to website design are beginning to emerge, and the purpose of this article is to review the literature on gender on web design, web atmospherics, and gender aesthetics. In the course of this, it will break new ground by presenting a model of web atmospherics, which instead of assuming the universality of reaction, as many studies do, makes allowance for the diversity of aesthetic reaction, both in terms of web production and what prevents aesthetic. In terms of diversity, the variable on which attention will be focused here is that of the gender, and this will be studied in relation with its impact on the diverse nature of production and prevents aesthetic. The problem from second journal is many researchers have theorized that the function of nonverbal mirroring is to help create a smoother interpersonal interaction between partners. Propose that nonverbal mirroring is primarily a device that conveys similarity and togetherness. It suggests that I'm like you, I feel as you, and that the two people are unique. There is a research evidence of a relationship between mirroring and Robert Charney, 1966. For example, Charney, 1966, observed that nonverbal mirroring increased over time in a group as Jeep feelings of rapport. Love Friends, 1979, and Love Friends, and mirroring in a group discussion, Goodman, 1966, reported a relationship between students' rating of class involvement and their mirroring of the instructor nonverbal behavior. Love Friends, 1982, suggests that absence of nonverbal mirroring may not only signal discord, but may actually instigate it. The method, the method, the methodology from First Journal is this paper explored the theoretical practical implication of the mirroring principle to an understanding of how best to identify and sustain service brand values. The article argues that only where the values of internal staff are congruent with those of external customers is it appropriate to model brand values around the preferences of internal staff. In those other cases, where the brand values of internal staff do not span the complete range of aesthetic choice available. Questions need to be asked about how best these external values can be reflected in the marketing and design of service targeted at customer. There are implications here for recruitment, promoting, and training that are not currently reflected in existing service branding model, and which therefore serve and as an important additional addition to the service branding model. The methodology from second journal is two experiments focused on nonverbal mirroring in a group discussion. In experiment one, each participant interacted with two confederates. Confederates disagreed with each other and with the participant during discussion. One confederate knew the nonverbal behavior of the participant, the other did not. Participant were taking confederate as more confident and persuasive. However, they were not more likely to change their viewpoint to match that of this confederate. Independent coders, unaware of their hypothesis, did not rate the two confederates as significantly different. In experiment 2, each participant again interacted with two confederates. One confederate agreed with the participant during discussion, and the other disagreed. One confederate blocked his or her face during the discussion. The other shook his or her foot. The hypothesis that participants would be more likely to mirror the nonverbal behavior of the confederate who agreed with them during discussion received no support. This is this is the data obtained from Cjr. Collecting data. The result of this study on the website prediction aesthetic reveals that statistically significantly different use of 13 of these features in the website created by the men and women. Differences suggestive of a varied production aesthetic on the part of the men and women. A further study this time of website preference aesthetic involved asking students 38 male and 26 females. During a sample of the student website found LCD differences between the male and female produced website. The ratings given to the male and female produced website show a highly significant tendency on the part of each gender to ascribe higher ratings to sites exemplifying the prediction aesthetic typical on their own agenda. This is the obtained data from that journal. Collecting data from second journal is participants indicated how much they agree with each confederate and answer from one not at all to seven or very much. Contrary to hypothesis, two participants did not agree with the imitator significantly more than with the non-imitator. Participants indicated how knowledgeable each confederate was about the issue and answered from one. There was no difference between the imitator and the non-imitator in ratings of how knowledgeable they appeared. Finally, the participant post-discussion ranking of the drugs reveal whether they rank the drug choices of the imitator higher than the non-imitator. Participants ranked the three drugs from best to worst. View the original data. Wilson sign ranks testers to detect differences contrary to hypothesis 2. They did not rank the imitator drug higher than the non-imitator drug. Therefore, although the participant rated the imitator as more persuasive, did not translate into their supporting the imitator drug significantly. The conclusion is from the review before the author can conclude that both of these journals have their own strengths and weaknesses. Each journal has analyzed itself. Overall, this journal is worth reading. Thank you.
So that's all about our presentation. Thank you very